Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's EAHamm and I offer writing tips as well as encouragement for writers and aspiring authors, as well as I do kind of dive into grief and depression and anxiety in regards to writing. So if that sounds like something that you would like, go ahead and click subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started on today's topic. Today I would do Coffee with Liz, where I sit and chat and you listen. So if you want, go ahead and pause this video here and go get you a cup of coffee or tea, whichever you prefer, and let's chat. As you all know, if you've been following me on Instagram, I've had a bit of a crazy summer. And I think it basically started in the springtime around Camp NaNoWriMo in April. Or maybe it was July. I can't remember now. I feel like I woke up and it was September and I have no idea how we got here. It's almost October. And I have to say that between getting acclimated and getting my kids to and from their sports practices, which started in August, and then I was really sick around Camp NaNoWriMo in July, and just completely threw me off. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I had some kind of virus that made me very ill. I just couldn't seem to write. Sure, I would write here and there, and then finally I was like, you know what, Liz, you have been putting off formatting your poetry book for too long. You want to have it out this fall. You have no plan whatsoever. You've got to get it together. And as much as I did not feel like getting it together, because let me tell you, when you've been out of writing, if you write, you already know this, when you've been out of the habit of writing and you've been out of the habit of filming and actually getting somewhere on your author platform, you just don't want to do it anymore. It's just like exercise, you know, once you stopped running or working out, it's hard to get back into it again, and you feel sluggish and you're like, I don't want to do this, but by the time you're done with the workout, you're like, I'm glad I got back into it, and each and every time becomes easier and easier. So I began pushing to format my poetry book. The only problem is not too many people have videos out. Not too many people can give advice on formatting poetry. I've had to Google how to format poetry. I've watched like a video here and there that is years old. And I actually start looking at poetry books and how people have their poems. And the difference is, like, everyone's writing novels, it seems like. And that seems a tad easier than the poetry because, I don't know, if you read poetry or, you know, you write it, or maybe you already have a book out and you know what I'm talking about, it is a pain in the rear end to format because some of my poems are really short, so that's the easiest ones. But then I have ones that are super long and you have to center them, and it's just, it's a pain because in my particular poetry collection, I am offering a tidbit or a little paragraph of where my mind was when I wrote the poem, what I was thinking, just because this is a sort of memoir over the past 10 years of my life. And honestly, it's just, you know, me evolving as a person, several different emotions, you know, all through it. I had one beta reader specifically tell me, you know, I felt your pain, I felt your grief, I laughed at some parts, I cried, I smiled, I rejoiced. She goes, it just did everything that poetry should do. And that's really what I wanted to do. But as well as you know, When you read a poem, sometimes you think it means one thing, or sometimes you're confused and you don't know what it means. It's all for personal interpretation. And I got the bright idea to add, tidbits, a little paragraph after each one. To format that compared to formatting the poem is just a very big pain. I was so excited on Friday. I said, I have this done. I'm going to do my edits yesterday. It took me 2 hours to do my edits. And I had it all done and I uploaded it and I looked at it and it's off. It's terrible, to say the least. I was so upset that I put it away. I mean, 2 hours is a long time to work on it. And if I didn't have a family, I'll be honest, I would have worked on it into the wee hours of the morning. I would have kept going, because once I get going on something, it's hard for me to stop, especially when it comes to this. And let me stop and add right here that for me, the formatting, the editing, they are not my favorite. I would rather just sit and write and hand it off to somebody to do all that for me. But let's just say I also am one to want to control things. So as much as I want to hand it off to somebody and have them do it, I still would be very much involved, and it would drive them insane. And I would end up taking it back and fixing it myself how I want it, because I'm such a perfectionist. And because of that, that's why I'm self-publishing this poetry book. I want to be the one in charge. I don't want to be the one that, someone comes to me and said, let's cut this poem, or you don't want to do it like this, or you don't want to set, and I would say, no, this is what I want, And I know not everyone's like that. I may be traditionally published one day. I don't know. But for now, this is where I'm starting. And I'm very thankful for indie authors, because I feel that they're up and coming, and self-publishing is not so much of a stigma anymore. And honestly, I think that if you can self-publish, and then you can get on your YouTube channel or whatever platform you are and offer advice on how you formatted that particular style, or, how you felt, then I think that it would catch on, and more I feel would, begin to self-publish, which I'm seeing a lot more. I didn't realize how big it was until probably within the last year. I didn't realize that a lot more people are self-publishing. Not that there's anything wrong with traditional publishing. Like I said, when my novel actually is finished, I think I might query, and I might try to find a literary agent and get that, traditionally published. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I feel like I'm rambling. But if you were sitting having a cup of coffee with me, this is how I would be talking to you, getting all my thoughts out. All that to say, I dealt with some anxiety, this summer. One thing about me I have learned is that when I know that a deadline is near, I do everything in my power to self-sabotage. I don't know why. I've been working on fixing that side of me, not self-sabotaging, getting to the end, reaching my goal, because as much as I am afraid to actually put my heart out there, because that's what poetry is to me. It's my heart. To put that out there for criticism, which I know it will come. I've even had days where I asked myself, what in the world am I doing? Who told you could write poetry, Liz? I mean, you're fooling yourself if you think people are going to buy this poetry book. But honestly, I'm thankful for the friends or my one particular friend who said, Liz, where do you get this stuff from? Just stop. Stop psyching yourself out. You're good. Believe that and keep going. Don't listen to the lies, that pop up into your brain, which is exactly what anxiety is. They're lies about yourself and what's happening around you. It's making something bigger than it is. And honestly, that's where I am. Today I feel a lot better. I am dressed in, Eagles. I'm going to my son's midget football game here around in a couple of hours, and I thought I would get ready for that. I'm gonna go to that, enjoy watching him play like I do most every Sunday. And then I'm gonna come home, make dinner, and I'm hoping to write tonight. I'm gonna set my formatting aside until tomorrow. As much as my need to control that and fix it is there, and as much as I want to fix that, I am not allowing myself to do that today. I am going to actually sit and write. And I am going to feel good about it because, like I said, I haven't really written much this summer at all. I've been doing a lot more reading more than anything, and which is good. It's good to stop and read and to, let your brain rest and everything. But I don't recommend going long periods of time without writing. I really don't. This is what happens. I have to get back into things, get back into the swing of things. And with October or Preptober around the corner, I literally told my friend the other day, I don't know if I'm doing NaNoWriMo this year. And as I was telling her this, I knew in the back of my mind that I was lying because as a writer, I just cannot not do NaNoWriMo. So that's the scoop on what's been going on in my life. I'd like to know what's going on in yours. Has there ever been a time, either this year or last year, or even right now, where a lot was going on in your mind mentally? You had anxieties. You allowed, the fear of putting yourself out there to freeze you in place, and where you stopped writing for a month or two, where you stopped really caring about your author platform. Has that happened to you? I'd like to know in the comments below. Let's start a conversation with this and let's discuss this. We're here to stick together and to help each other out. And like I tell you every single video, don't let that stop you. Just keep writing.